Welcome guys, this is the new tutorial for the intermediate series of Python programmers. So in this tutorial, we're going to talk about named tuple. So named tuple basically it is the replacement for the initial existing tuple. So why do we use tuple, named tuple? Sorry. So why do we use named tuple instead of the initial tuple? So in the initial tuple, which looked something like this, we had some value inside those brackets, something like this. So there were only some values in it, and to remember those values, you have to just remember their index value. But in the name tuple, you have to just basically remember the name of their position. Like you can say that I have assigned a value of a as 1 and b as 2. Then you have to only remember the you have to just call the variables like a b c. So that's the that's the biggest advantage for using the name tuple. So now let's get started with the coding for named tuple. So first of all, from collections, first of all we'll import collections. So we'll say import collections, and then from collections import, import named tuple. Okay, so now we'll create a new tuple. We'll call it as you can say a point, or sorry, you can say, okay, let's say the point. And now you have to just call the keyword named tuple. And now in the name tuple, it basically has two arguments. The first argument is the name of your named tuple, that what you're gonna set the name for your tuple. So I'm going to say the name for my tuple is point. And now uh, I'll say, so now I have set the name of the named tuple as point, and now I'm gonna pass some arguments. So I'm gonna say p, then space, then q, then okay. So these are my arguments. So basically you can also create, I'll show you how you can create more arguments. So now what I'll do is I'll just basically if you're gonna in this tutorial, we're gonna treat this name tuple as the class. So whenever we're gonna call the name tuple variable, so we're gonna treat as the object of the class. So I'll say that so just a new point, or you can say, okay, so np or new point is equals to, and I'm gonna call my name tuple, which is as point. And now I'm going to give the value for the arguments p, q, and r. So I'm gonna say 1, 2, and 3. Okay, so now if I print this name tuple, okay, and if I run it, it's showing a syntax error. Okay, so I forgot to give the columns between it. So I gave this columns, and now when I print this name tuple, you can see that it has successfully created a new name tuple. So now, so let's say that you want to access the arguments of the name tuple individually. So for doing that, you have to just basically call np dot, or the name tuple, the variable dot x. So sorry, dot p. So the name of your argument which you are going to call. So if I print it, you can see, yes, now it's showing me the value for p, which is 1. So okay, now let's say that you want to call your name tuple using the index value. So you have to just say the variable name, and then you have to just give the index value, which is 0 for 1. So it's showing me that value. And now let's say that now you want to basically create this name tuple, convert this name tuple into ordered dictionary. So first of all, let me tell you about the ordered dictionary. So an ordered dictionary, which means that there are some values and keys in the dictionary. And so if you change and if later if you change the value of the key of those keys, then their index value is not gonna change. So they are gonna basically maintain the order in which they are inserted. So let's say that so first of all, let me create the order dictionary. So for doing that, I'll say print, and now I'll say that np dot this underscore. So don't forget to use this underscore as, sorry, as dict. And now if I print it, okay, it's gonna show me an error. Okay, because I haven't used the method. So I'm gonna print, yes, you can see that an order dictionary has been created with the values p, q, and r. So in this order dictionary, what I meant to say was, what I was saying was that if you change this value for p, q, or r in future, then they are gonna remain in the same order in which they are now. Okay, so that was the meaning for order dictionary. So I've created the order dictionary. So now let's say that you want to replace this value, so these values of p, q, and r with another value. So for doing that, first of all, you have to just basically assign a new variable. So if you won't assign a new variable, then it's not gonna basically change the value of those arguments. So I'm gonna do is, so first of all, let me show you the error which it's gonna throw. So first of all, let's, and the function which I'm gonna use is underscore replace. I'm going to underscore replace. And now guys, if I just say x, sorry, the value of q is 5. So now it should replace the value of q from 2 with 5, but it's just not gonna do that. So let me just show you. Okay, so yeah, it's doing this here because I'm directly printing it here. But let's say that you don't have to. Okay, now I'll show you like this. Let's say that you don't want to print it directly, you want to print it or use it afterwards in your program later. So there's gonna be a major problem for that. So now if I print it, so first I have assigned this replace function, and I've replaced the value of q of 2 with 5. And now when I'm gonna print this np, or the name tuple, so you can see that the value of q has not been replaced, because that's the inbuilt characteristic of the name tuple. So for doing this, you have to basically assign it to a new variable, or let's just say that the variable, you can just basically call the old variable np. And now guys, if I print it, so you're gonna see that yes, it has successfully replaced the value of q with 5. So that was using the replace function. So this one more thing that I want to tell. So now this name tuple function, so first of all, just let me remove this replace okay. So now this name tuple function, it basically requires the value of each arguments to be entered respectively. So it's gonna take a lot of time if you do it individually. So instead of that, you have, let's say that you want to just basically set the values of p, q, and r to something else rather than 1, 2, and 3. So for doing that, you can just basically use the make function, underscore make function, which and insert a list of the values. So what I'm talking about is, let's say I'm gonna np2, and let's say that I'm gonna call this np variable, and I'm gonna call this make function. And now what I was talking about, that let's say that I want to basically set the value of pqr to another value. So what I'll do is, I'll just basically give the values. So let's say for p I'm giving is satyarth, and for let's say for a q I'm giving it a code, and for r I'm giving it initiatives. Okay. And now if I print it, okay, it's showing me this value only. So now let's me print it this new name tuple. So yes, you can see that the value for Satyarth, P, Q, and R has been set to Satyarth code and initiative respectively. So that's how you use the name tuple. So I hope you understand the logic behind using this name tuple and why we do use the name tuple instead of the initial tuple. Because as you know, I'm gonna tell you one more time that we use the name tuple instead of the tuple, the normal tuple, because in the normal tuple, basically you have to basically remember the index of those arguments, but in the name tuple you don't need to remember the index of those arguments. You just have to basically remember the name of each position. So you just basically have to remember what are the names which have been passed, like P, Q, R, S, T, U. You can give any name you want and you can just basically easily access it. So that's it for this name tuple video. So I hope you like this video. So if you like this tutorial, then please do subscribe to Code Initiatives and please share this with your coding friends, and see you in the next which is next tutorial, which is gonna be the last tutorial of this intermediate series. And till then, goodbye, take care, and keep coding.